See, this is me. Boba Fett.
That's groovy, baby.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy, it's KonKon. Connor Jackson, back at it again. Just say it.
We back.
We back. You know, you say it better than him.
Well, pretty much everything I do is... Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, you came up with Boomer Fett.
Exactly.
I mean, you already have the Twitter.
And it's all set up.
And the domain.
So
you are Boomer Fett. Justin had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. What is up, everybody? I am your boy, Connor Jackson, and sitting across from me, the returning guest. You died on the sands of Tatooine. I picked you up and brought you to a mod parlor.
Yeah.
And I replaced your guts.
I appreciate that.
I had fun with you before.
Uh-huh.
You know, we had some drinks. Get your minds out of the gutters, people. Come on now. And after that, you're here.
Yep.
What is up, Matt?
I haven't had a Smirnoff Ice since.
I
literally had my guts removed.
Tell people that
I think we talked about it about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Pretty soon after it happened. But I got Smirnoff iced, and coincidentally, I had my gallbladder removed about a week later.
You actually had your guts removed.
Did.
Yeah.
Guts are gone.
You're now Matt Shand. That is, I'm changing your name.
It could be that, or I could just be Boomer Fett.
Oh, true. I forgot. Yeah, you're Boomer Fett.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Yeah,
We'll talk about that more.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Guys, thank you for joining us on the 117th episode of Book of Boba Fett. The episode that we were going to be covering is called The Gathering Storm. Matt, how did you feel about this episode? Give me gut reaction.
Gut reaction is I am too critical of the show, I think, because of what I expect out of it. But as a just viewing it for entertainment, I think it was a really good episode. Yeah,
it was better than the last episode.
For sure.
For sure. For me now, I think the order is 2, 4, 1, 3. I liked this one more than episode 1. Episode 2 is still my favorite. The train scene is just...
I mean, I loved the Rancor in the last episode, but that was pretty much it. Danny Trejo's cool.
Danny Trejo's cool.
So that's cool. But, last episode was a little too...
It was a little rough. Yeah. It was a little rough. Tons of people enjoyed it, which I'm glad people enjoyed it.
For sure.
Everybody's different, we're not trashing it, and that's me and Justin, and now me and you, we always try to be really balanced. So this episode for me, reaction, like I said, this is sitting at number 2 for me. Episode 2 is my favorite, and now I'll put this one. I will say, being critical of the show, I didn't need getting the Slave 1 back.
Right.
I think that was very...
We've already seen it.
Mm-hmm. And... kind of with the mention of, Finnick being brought back by Boba, and then in episode 5, the Gunslinger, we had a lot of that being tied into this episode, obviously, with him picking up Finnick. The explanation that we get in episode 7, the tragedy of Mandalorian season 1, or episode 8, the tragedy, where Boba is explaining, or Finnick herself's explaining, I was there for dead and he saved me and he owes me a life debt.
That was enough.
It did make me like the mod gang a little bit more, that she was saved because of those people, whatever you want to call them, that group, this syndicate gang, whatever you want to call them. And I thought it was very like World of Warcraft or big multiplayer game, kind of like you go into a parlor to change. They called it a parlor, and it's like you go in, you get a customized,
parlor,
you change your skin tone or your eyes or whatever it may be. I thought that was pretty cool,
and I like that scene a lot. And I think that they didn't go into it as deep as I would have liked to. I thought the whole operation modification was way too quick with all the time that they put into the other stuff. Where we have to watch the little droid go and do its thing. It's like a 2.5 minute scene, and they could have gotten deeper into what they were doing with her instead of showing some
some
very
weird
poor
wires.
wiring.
Poor wiring.
But we know from Mando that wiring is not.
Wiring's not important. Little baby Grogu.
Red, blue,
yeah, not important. Guys, housekeeping, of course, really quick. We got new stickers. We have an amazing little Grogu sticker with the podcast name on it. He is holding a martini glass or a Manhattan glass, whichever you prefer, espresso martini or Manhattan. And then, of course, we have our regular, just our logo, our long logo. We got the martini glass and the rocks glass on there with R2. But we have this one. If you are interested in a sticker, please send us a message on Instagram. All the patrons except you has pretty much gotten their stickers already. Or they should be. Actually, it might have come in.
Yeah,
it might be in the mail today
by now.
Yeah, it might even be at your house right now. And of course, guys, KonKon's Cantina at all of the following: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and if you would like to follow us on TikTok, it is KonKon's Cantina Podcast. That is the only one that is different. Don't forget, we have a Discord where we talk spoiler chat, and we have a lot of other chats in there. We have a crypto chat in there now. Mm-hmm. We also have CKB. We also have some basic, basic like video game chats, movie chats. It's a very chill place for Discord, and that's primarily where we talk Boba Fett spoilers. I'm hiccuping already. I'm gonna die.
Well, we did have Taco Bell.
It's true. And everybody, we still have some T-shirts. We still have some rec shirts. So if you would like one of those, they are in the Big Cartel, or you can message me and I'll throw you a discount. Got to move that merch. Guys, please rate this podcast if you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, send it to somebody. Do we entertain you? Did you find a new beer because of us? Please leave us a 5-star review. It very much helps the podcast. It basically says people who are listening to other Star Wars podcasts to be like, hey, you would like these guys. So please go over there and listen to us and leave us a rating. We very much appreciate it. The agenda of this episode is, of course, talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 4, which is entitled The Gathering Storm. Now, we already gave our gut reactions. Now, elephant in the room, Matt.
Yeah, that's really rude.
Sorry. I was supposed to, big old bantha lips, I was supposed to do my dare.
Uh-huh.
But Justin is not here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna save. I know. I hear. Okay. I was like, who is it? Was it Justin?
No, not yet.
I want to save that for when Justin is here. So then maybe me and him get to do a dare at the same time. I'm not going to say what the dare was. We have 6 dares because I rolled the dice. I got number 6, so I had to do the 6th dare. I couldn't find the actual note when we were recording the episode, of course, because I lost it. Found it, got the dare.
Preparation is key.
I know. You'd think that we do this every week or something. It is what it is. So I'm gonna do it.
Well,
next
you did
week.
say this is the 117th episode of Book of Boba Fett. So
did I?
You did.
No, that's it. There you go. Hey, shout outs to Master Chief 117. Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
We are a Cantina podcast.
That's true.
So we're going to go to the Cantina
Let's go
now.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
Matt.
Yes, sir.
We are both sitting in the sanctuary, just minding our own business. BK's over there having way too much to drink.
He is.
Clearly.
He's got bad intentions. I feel it.
Dude, stuff's dripping down his... Do they get beards? Can we say that Wookiees have beards? It kind of looks like he has a beard.
He's got something
He's got something going on. What are we
It's a hairy apparatus, whatever it is.
It's a hairy apparatus. I just remembered what you said earlier.
I didn't say anything.
Those don't go together, trust me. What are we drinking? Matt, introduce the beer for us.
Oh, this is I don't know if this is probably a new beer for the show. I'm sure you haven't heard of it before. It's a really small microbrewery.
Yes.
It's been
it's the original craft beer.
Samuel Adams. This is a seasonal, which that's pretty much all they do now. I mean, they have their standard, but anywhere you go,
it seems like
there's going to be some seasonal, something cool. This is a holiday porter because we're all on vacation.
Yep.
And it's labeled roasted and robust. It's a low ABV, under 6, so you can drink a couple of these and be good.
The IBU is low too.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
It's really smooth. It's a lot smoother for a porter and less like overpowering than typical porters.
Yeah, so this is the seasonal holiday porter. You can get this in the holiday variety pack. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can buy it individually. I haven't seen it individually. It's all right. I say 5 out of 10. It's not terrible. The sessionability is good. The front end I think is better than the back end. Once I get halfway through the beer, it's a little sour on the back end.
Yeah.
But it does have like a roasted flavor comes through the most.
Like I wouldn't mind enjoying one of these in an afternoon or something, and then go on to something else. But it's not offensive. It's good.
It's weird. Like porters, like it really tastes like an IPA on the back end for some reason. Do you get that, or is it just me?
Not. Yeah, maybe just you.
Yeah, that's weird. Well,
but
everyone's
it doesn't
palate's
taste
different.
like a traditional porter either, though. There's something different about it. Maybe that the roastedness is doing something to your taste buds there.
Yeah, I don't know. 5 out of 10 for me. What do you give it?
Sure.
5 out of 10. Yeah, I think that stands to reason. Matt.
Yes, sir.
Let's get into this recap.
Do it.
Once again, I really enjoyed last episode. Callers, we will also be doing call-ins at the end of the episode. As always, 407 Woo-Yavi. That is 407-900-5084. Call in, leave us your hot take, be heard galaxy-wide on the podcast, and also be entered into our giveaway that we'll be doing at the end of Book of Boba Fett.
And I think there's a rumor we might have a live call-in.
Nah, forget that guy.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to talk to him anyway.
We don't want to talk to him anyway.
We're getting a vacation.
Yeah.
While he's on vacation.
Exactly.
Welcome to Justina's Cantina.
Oh my gosh, this guy! You know, Matt. Let me tell you.
Never leave his
First
mic
of all,
on.
he does nothing. Okay,
I-
and then he goes on vacation.
Yes.
And then he wants to
Confirmed.
act all excited and come on the podcast and interrupt the vibe that we've got going.
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
don't know. This
anyway.
guy. Where did
Well, I knew that somebody had to give some accurate information.
Sam
That's why
Witwer,
Connor's here.
Sam Witwer confirmed in this episode again. Oh, let's take our
Have
bets
you even
now.
watched the episode yet, Justin? I couldn't.
Yeah,
I didn't have
watched
time. I was
it.
driving.
I watched it while I was driving, like
Oh,
every
that's fantastic.
Hey.
automobile operator does.
Who are we gonna say that Jordan is gonna say is Sam Witwer in this episode?
Oh,
One of the Trandoshans.
No, he's the rat catcher droid.
yeah. That's what I was going to say.
He's-
Oh my god.
He's gonna say he's the
Yeah.
rat catcher droid. All right,
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad when Dodo Fett can't even catch one droid without an immense amount of effort.
that's what I was.
Where
gonna
did you go? Where?
Yeah, we had a Batman. He was like, "Who are you?" I'm Batman. All right, before we get into this recap, Justin, give us your 2 cents on the episode, and then I'm kicking you out.
Okay. Let's see. I think that this episode answered some of the stuff we wanted. We specifically did say we want to know how the heck Boba and Fennec had their uniting on the sands of Tatooine. We got to see that. But at the same time, this plot moved literally nowhere again.
Yes.
I'm very mixed on this episode. The end little sound of the the music, like that obviously stirred like some excitement
Yeah.
for me. But all in
Just
all,
you.
it was still like a freaking mediocre episode.
Well, they are trying to explain why he's doing what he's doing, because we talked about that off mic just over the past couple of weeks about why is he even trying to do this and going against what he's been doing his whole life as being one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy.
I think he talked about that a lot in the episode, though, which was good.
So that part was good, I thought.
Yeah, like
I
he
feel
doesn't.
like this
Yeah, go ahead.
entire first season is like previously on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Literally the entire season.
Yeah.
There's nothing new. Like everything is all flashbacks. It's all what has already happened and they're filling you in, and nothing is moving forward and what's actually happening currently.
I thought it was weird that we had, just like you're saying, we kind of have this previously on. Like, we didn't have to do the black chrysanthemum stuff that we did in the last episode. We could have just hired black chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you don't have a job. Like, don't get me wrong. The Trandoshan scene of him clearly just hating Trandoshans, watching them win at a betting table was
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
And don't feel too bad.
But
His arm's
aren't-
going to grow back.
But aren't they
Exactly.
the masters of Terras Kazi? Why do they all look like they can't even move and get
Not
out of their
all of
own
them.
way?
Not
I
all
know,
of them.
but they're also reptilian. So why they? I mean, he's moving like everything he's doing like.
Well, those were obviously the nerd. Those were
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
nerd dad Trandoshans.
Yeah, exactly.
Out for their like night of beers away from their little lizard family.
Yeah.
They were definitely not like the big bad boss.
Yeah, they're not a boss. Yeah.
hunter.
Right.
They could have come
Yeah.
from a crappy clan.
They could have.
know.
Yeah.
You know,
They were
they're
living
the
their best
accountant
life
clan.
away from their wives for one night.
Yeah, exactly. All right, continue with your thoughts on the episode.
I mean, that's really my
Oh,
That's
biggest
great.
thought. Like, yes, we did say we wanted to know what happened, but I again felt like there was so much immense time spent on the flashback and so little plot movement.
yeah.
It was cool to see it.
We
I
got a
liked a lot of
ton of
moments
big
of
old
it.
bantha lips, though.
Big old bantha lips
and Bantha
And
tongue.
white fang.
And bantha tongue.
Go on, get bantha.
Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here, you cat.
Free to roam the dune sea because I threw a chicken bone in front of you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And why is a single leg of whatever was roasted is enough to sate the bantha and have him burp? Come on.
It reminds me of like camels that can eat just next to nothing and then drink for like not day. You know, it has got to be some explanation like that.
Yeah.
I loved seeing his
Agreed.
tail wag though.
Yeah, that was cool.
Look-
and totally necessary.
Look, Justin, get the hell out of here.
All right, well, see ya.
Well, see ya. Goodbye.
Where else have I heard that today?
Goodbye, literally. He's cut off.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for this recap?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Boba, once again, is in his bacta tank. The flashback starts as we find the slowest creature in all of Star Wars, big ol' bantha lips,
They are
walking across the Tatooine
majestic
sand.
beasts.
Boba looks into a way to get into Jabba's palace. Why? Well, we later find out that he wants the Slave One back.
And who wouldn't?
Sitting by the campfire, Boba sees flares being shot in the distance. He stumbles upon Fennec Shan, as we see in Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 5, Gunslinger. Boba takes Fennec to the Lost Boys, a.k.a. the mod crew,
Yes.
so that she can be saved. Now, we were just talking about this with Justin. I'm sure that I did say it at one point, like, how does he save her? Where does she get the robot guts? Mm-hmm. Now that I've seen it, it made Episode 3 better, but I could have lived without it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they still seem out of place.
Yeah,
You know, in
it seems
Tatooine.
like nobody's quite comfortable in what they're doing yet, and they're all just it's a lot of thrown together cool ideas that aren't totally fleshed out. But I mean, everything's working so far, but it just doesn't seem as polished as it could be, especially for a show that's been announced for as long as it has.
I do. Well, you think it's a long time?
Well, it was announced at the end of season 2
Yes.
of Mando, and then
That was the end of 2020?
yeah, so it's been a full year.
No. 2019. Wow, why am I forgetting
Yeah,
this?
I don't know either.
Everything blurs together
Right.
now. I can't freaking
Yeah.
remember with this stupid pandemic.
But
Well,
I just
yeah.
felt like there was more time, especially for the amount of episodes. There's only 7, so
I still feel like this kind of came out of nowhere.
yeah.
That's still how I feel.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
That's still how I feel. So he brings her to the mod game. Back to the recap. We see more of the Vespas outside. They're also playing this heavy tantric type music, which me and you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They play this music in the High Republic books.
Yeah.
Spoilers for the High Republic books. Not a huge spoiler, but one of the bad guys, he plays this this music, this, like, they give it an actual name in the Star Wars universe, so it's
Yeah.
cool. It's like a heavy, like punk rock mixed with like Daft Punk or
Yes,
Skrillex or
rock dub.
listen to, yeah, exactly, yeah, it's out there. But hey, I think it's just another way for Disney to sell me a CD.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow, I said CD.
Yeah.
It's wow.
Do you prefer tapes or CDs?
You know, it's funny. I started recently looking for, because when I was in grade school and I listened to Star Wars books, they were all on tape.
Right.
In those big cassette
Uh-huh.
binders, they were all together. And that's my new obsession, because I just got a nice cassette player and I want to find
Knew
Star
they were
Wars
coming
books.
back.
They are, dude. They are 100%. Back to the recap. In the mod parlor, the doctor, so to speak, saves her life. We talked about this a little bit. How did you feel about the whole scene?
I liked the scene. I just thought it should be more in depth. And if everything that they did up to that point was a cliffhanger and just by the edge of their seat they got through, I felt they should have done that with the operation as well. Like there should have been.
We're losing her.
Oh, we're losing her. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole thing. Because
100%.
every other thing, as trivial as it was, was like that up
there
until
was
that.
No urgency.
Right.
She was just.
You were dying of a gut shot.
Yep.
Oh,
you
were? Because all I did was lay there and get healed and woke up where you left me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there was no urgency. That's a really good way. That's a really good way to put it. She could have flatlined, something like that.
Something to make it more like, to draw you in more and make you more engaged with what was going on. Because we already know she survived, but
yes, exactly.
We don't know how close she was to death. And from this episode, it just looked like she was taking a nap. Woke up
sleeping nice and tidy.
Woke up with them new guts
on the warm sands of Tatooine. The doctor. It was almost more like tattoos than it was any sort of surgery.
Right. But if modding's that cool back then that was what, it basically was the tattoos.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just, once again, the urgency wasn't there. No blood, no,
and I think that's probably a Disney thing. They don't want to show blood. They show sparks and fireworks every time you shoot a blaster, but they're not going to show blood, and that's fine. But
we did in A New Hope.
Anyone did was look over in no walk-ins, appointments only.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's just got a gut shot wound and she's bleeding out, but you're just going to sit there and program the.
How did Boba know about them?
Well, he says Tatooine is his planet, so how familiar is he with everything? Being a bounty hunter, he's got to know. He's got to know pretty much everything about it. So.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time there. We talked a little bit about the wiring. That was a little kitschy, little campy, whatever.
Where was Grogu when we needed him?
Yeah, I know, right? The thing that killed me was not the wiring was, being a little nitpicky. The wiring was bad, but the one that got me was when apparently we turned Fennec into a water cooled PC. And we had the two different colors of coolants going through. I was like, come on. Like
what was the blue? Is that
hydraulic fluid? Because that's what it looked like. She's working hydraulics.
It could be. I guess they were. He had to show us it was a spring type.
Yeah. And we see her when
so.
she opens her gut area for Mando. We see them, moving up and down. So
who would cover up all that beautiful machinery?
I know. Boba would.
Yeah.
Boba's like,
are you going to cover it up?
Couldn't we cover that up? Look, her pots.
Trying to work here.
Look, her pots are showing. It's like, I don't know. It was weird. But anyway, back to the recap. Waking up on the sands after her surgery, Boba explains to her that he took her to the mob parlor and they saved her life. Boba explains to Fennec about his resurrection, that he was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine, but the Tusken Raiders themselves saved him and brought them in as part of their tribe. Then he brings up the massacre that was brought upon the Sand People. Fennec explains that it was very unlikely that it was the speeder bike gang. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I thought that this was super interesting, and it immediately caught my attention and reminded me of A New Hope. When Luke is falling for the trope that Tusken Raiders killed all the Jawas, and Obi-Wan's like, there's no way, look at the footprints, they walk in single file. Fennec is like, there's no way the speeder bike gang kills Tusken Raiders. Boba later, best shot in the whole freaking episode, destroys the entire Nikto, thank you, bike gang.
Yep.
And there's no second thought to that that phrase.
Yeah.
So I was like super interested in who else it could have been.
Right. Well, maybe that's going to come next.
So he killed the whole gang for nothing?
Well, they were kind of miscreants and ne'er-do-wells. They don't have a place in the...
Ooh, ne'er-do-wells.
Cretans. Gutter snipes.
Can you... What?
Let's keep going.
Let's keep doing it. I really liked that idea. It gave me a new hope. I thought we were going to be led in another direction, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I don't think that's going to happen. Continuing with the recap, Fennec and Boba then scout out Jabba's palace. They break the deal, of course. They broker the deal. He needs to get his fire spray back. His Slave One, as we know that it is called. Unlike the Razor Crest, which is actually...
That's a great name for a ship built by somebody else.
Built by Razor Crest. You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. Did you see that Justin finally, went by the wayside and said that I was right? He made a whole announcement in Discord and everything. It was
I missed that one. I gotta
best day
check
of my
the
life.
history. Yeah. I mean, he pretty much acquiesces to you anyway.
It's true. I mean, he's just absolutely nothing compared in Star Wars knowledge or anything else.
Pretty much.
I mean, as long as we're all on the same page. Oh man,
He back. Back.
That got me so good. I lost my place in the. Okay, all right. Woo. After a playful goodbye with his pet Bantha, Jabba and Fennec go over the scouting report that Fennec's probe droid received. I absolutely loved the dog Bantha thing. Mm-hmm. Did you think it was a little over the top?
I mean, it's leading up to he wants to be riding some beast that shouldn't be. Yeah. So, with his training as a Tusken, and now with the Rancor and what I'm sure we're going to see more of.
Yeah.
He's going to be riding that stupid thing at the end of this season.
Well, the greatest thing, as we heard from the intro music, the obvious trope that we're going to end up seeing Din in this show. Mm-hmm. How hilarious would it be if just
we're going to see Mando.
We see Mando just like he got the Darksaber. Yeah. Mando rides the Rancor, not Boba.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You can look.
You can ride.
This is me. You can ride my Rancor. Like, dude, that'd be hilarious. Yeah. Mando's like, it was just here. Is it not supposed to be ridden? Like, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Mando, I've ridden beast 10 times smaller than this. He's talking about the little.
I don't know what he goes from being the sharpest bounty hunter in the galaxy to farming and having a petting zoo.
Yeah.
And pretending that he's running a crime family.
The probe droid.
Yes.
Out of her rifle. I thought that was super cool. We were watching it. I said, Darth Maul probe droids. I loved that.
Yeah.
Please bring up the door thing because I thought this was hilarious.
Yes. Well, it's back to what we were saying. The door was wide open.
Yes.
Why does it need to almost close on the thing? There's no reason for that. You don't have to do that for every single thing that happens in the show, except for the big important scene where someone's being put back together.
They can time the guards, but they can't time when that dang door is opening and closing. Like,
well, I mean, they were there right before dark, and it does close at dark.
It's a screen. It's a screen trope, right? I mean, we get it. I did think it was really, really cool, though. I hope that we see. I think this is the most that we've seen from Fennec the entire show. Mm-hmm. She had way more of a showing, and Mando, obviously. Yeah, I hope we see more. I want to see more gadgets, like having her be more of a Splinter Cell, secret spy. She's like this famed assassin. She's got to have tricks that we don't know about,
right?
So I hope we see. I hope we see more of that. Quiet and slow is the objective for entering Jabba's palace. Sneaking into the kitchen, they unfortunately run into General Chef, the remake of General Grievous.
Yes.
I thought it was hilarious.
I liked it.
I wanted him to go, Boba Fett, it was, or I wanted him to shove his gaffy stick in, like like Obi-Wan does to stop
that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been. And then Fennec also, she uses that same. We were talking about it. She has what
like kyber crystal powered glass cutter, diamond cutter, whatever it is.
We never even see anything in her hand. Like she's got this. It's almost like a little piece of chalk, and she's just drawing lines. And
what else was like? Oh, kind of like if you any Heroes.
They
used to do the thing.
Dude, Heroes was a good.
The first season.
Yeah. The show. See, a lot of people hate the last of the show, but I think it all.
I don't even.
It
think
gets really repetitive.
But yeah, the first two seasons were great. The third season was so bad, and it derailed everything. And
it reminds me of like. We're going off the rails, but it's all right. It reminds me of, everyone says that Iron Man was the birth of Superman movies, or Superman, superhero movies.
You love DC. I don't remember that from earlier.
Oh my God. Anyway, I think of like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Heroes. Those are my first two of like, this is good superhero content.
Well, Heroes was really cool because it was not tied to anything that was already out there, and if it was, no one really knew about it. So there was no history, and they could do
someone stole it from a manga, and they're still fighting in court to this day.
Is it?
I don't know. That was the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. There it is.
Where's Heroes? Pause this time and go back and erase this whole segment.
Back to the recap. They have finally reached the Slave One. after knocking out 2 Gamorrean guards, the same ones that he later employs, mind you. Has to be.
It's got to be, right? They're not just...
They got left behind.
Yeah.
It's those 2. The alarm sounds. Guards start rushing in, blasters in hand. Finnick dismantles each one of these guards one by one after giving Boba the order that he needs to make sure that the fire spray, the Slave One, can still fly. The Slave One's sensors arrays are clearly blocked being inside the hangar. Dragging the nose of the spaceship, he starts destroying walls and everything around him. How did you feel about that scene?
What happens when an airplane or another type of flying vehicle runs into the side of a mountain?
Can't fly anymore.
Right. So what happens when you're pivoting your ship and raking the metal against the stone wall of the mountain that you're inside?
It's a TV show, nothing.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
Okay. To me, when it's dragging, why didn't it go down?
Right. He didn't do anything to try to fit better. He's just like, I'll scrape this against the
he
rock
he
and
couldn't see
everything.
anything.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was still looking straight up. Remember in Attack of the Clones when Jango and Obi-Wan start to fight and he goes, Boba, get to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes in and he's, I wish I had the camera so I could do this, but he kind of does this number. He goes like this. He goes,
yeah.
he like looks over.
Right.
Because, that's what Boba's doing now.
That is the one downfall of the way that ship is set up.
Yeah, it's just, but that was so cool in Mando Season 2 where we finally saw the giant gyro on the inside. Like, that's not the word. Gyro.
Gyroscope? Isn't that the word?
Yeah, gyroscope, yeah. I was thinking that everyone says gyro.
The gyroscope. This
The
dude's
gyroscope.
hungry. We had tacos earlier.
Yeah,
and
we
he's
just
really
said,
hungry again.
it's true. I'm always hungry. It's a bad thing. I need to find out how to not be
You
hungry.
think it'd be me, but no, I'm good.
Well, it is you.
Oh,
And me.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. It is what it is, brother.
We could end that in post.
Yeah. We won't.
No.
After flying out of the hangar, Finnick expresses her interest in staying with Boba. Now, I immediately was like, continuity error, what's going on?
Yep.
They specifically say in the tragedy, she's like, he saved me, I owe him a life debt. And in this episode, he's like, help me get my shit back.
And you're good to go.
And you're
Yeah.
good to go. Consider the debt paid.
Right.
And you immediately said, well, it's whatever she wants to do.
Because he said if that's what you decide.
Yeah. And you're usually don't have good things to say.
Yeah, I don't.
But
I do.
You did this time.
I
'cause you
have good
called
things
it.
to say. They're just not nice.
You're just a good boy that does bad boy things.
Well,
It is what it is. But you called it. So
Yeah.
she's just like, I'll stick along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have anywhere else to be. And I think there's an advantage here too, because Boba makes it clear that he says, there's an advantage to people thinking you're dead.
Right.
It's kind of like the whole James Bond thing with Daniel Craig. Everyone thought he was, dead for that short period of time and he got to live his life. And what advantages does it give Boba, though? Like, everybody knows who's going after Boba Fett. What does Boba being dead give Boba? People are scared of Boba, not Boba scared of people.
Right. Yeah, no. What it does is he should show his face, and he should show that he can beat anything. I mean, he sat in the Sarlacc pit for how long?
Dude, he said years in this episode,
right.
which, I guess it is... If Mando takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, are we to assume that him getting out of the Sarlacc, getting the
He's
Slave
lining
One,
up
dude,
for
this
that.
is weeks
Right.
before, because
so we're at 4
5
years, right?
Yeah, so years, so 5 years, weeks before that he gets out, we have the events of Mandalorian season 1 all the way up to all the way to the end, and then episode 1, Mandalorian season 2, is the reveal of Boba.
Right.
Well, besides him and Gunslinger, which is the parallels to this episode. So he was in there for a full 5 years?
I guess that's what they're saying. I mean,
How do you
even
say-
in the EU, he was in there a long time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just overnight that he got out.
We talked about that there's so many different stories in the EU, even when he's in the Sarlacc. But the most famous one, do you remember the one where he has the psychological connection with the Sarlacc and he convinces the Sarlacc to let him out?
Maybe if I read it again. A lot of that stuff has been 20 plus years since I read it last.
Tales of Bounty Hunter which is
Yep.
there's a POV of Boba, and we've talked about it during the recording of Book of Boba Fett, and Justin did bring this up, that he gets a form of cancer from the acid and from being in the Sarlacc. And I think that the show really could have benefited from, there's a digital screen.
Explaining that more and
Explain
saying
it.
why you're in the back to tank
Yes.
instead of just saying you need to get to one.
Yeah, like, no duh. Like, have
Really?
you seen me? Everyone needs to get into a back to tank. Like, that seems like the only place you can get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
But, like, more of an explanation of,
Something, and that's the thing about this whole show. Some things are way too over-explained that we don't care about.
Yes.
And then details that we want to know more about, they're just like,
there are other shows, and this podcast is not about those shows, so I'm not going to say the name, but there are other shows that do things very good by explaining things via sentences. That allows the audience to become their own avatar, put themselves in the universe, and think of how it happened to themselves.
Yeah.
We know that it happened because a character said it.
Right.
Do we need to see a visual
not
representation?
really.
Boba, I lost my ship. It's at Boba's palace. I stole it back.
Great.
Whole episode.
Good to go. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Finnick was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. I saved her.
There
Good.
you go. Good to go.
Whole episode. Once again,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the episode,
All right.
but
It's
we're just
so much that we don't need.
we are just pointing out the obvious, that maybe it's convenient storytelling, because we know that these events happened. We were told that they happened. We see that Boba is alive. We see that Finnick is alive, but yet we get a whole episode.
And I think
and we're not being negative.
No, we're not.
We're just, once again, we're stating the obvious.
But talking about the different things that we're seeing, I think you misspoke earlier when you said the bantha was the slowest creature, and it's actually those Vespa scooters. We saw that in the last episode.
You're right. We'll get to that. Let's get back to the recap.
It was like Back to the Future with the hoverboard over the water.
Yes, it was. Some people really enjoyed it though.
Oh, sure, it was great.
Dude, there's a guy. I'll send it to you. There's a guy who's re-editing the whole Vespa scene, and what he's doing is he's adding speeder sounds and pod racer sounds from all the movies. He's also sped up and cut out some scenes, and he's adding dramatic John Williams style music, and it's actually really good.
Well, let's load it up.
Well,
Okay.
I have to find it. It's a whole
Oh,
thing.
sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that.
Listen, once again, you think I'm prepared. Come on.
No Boy Scouts here.
No, back to the recap. After they get the ship, they have what is probably my favorite scene in the entire episode. Boba mentions that he has scores to settle.
Yes.
Finding the Nikto Sandrider gang, he absolutely obliterates them with the main blasters
Pew
on.
pew 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 pew.
Dude, I love the
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's
dude, the sound of the slave ones.
those are the best sounds.
Yeah, they're really, really, especially. There's got to be just a memory bank of all of these sounds.
The Foley artists are fantastic. I mean,
Yes.
that's Lucasfilm. I mean, come
It's
on.
always been top notch. And when Attack of the Clones, when Jango is chasing Obi-Wan through the
Yes.
asteroid belt, and it's ricocheting off asteroids, and you're
That's perfect.
I was really surprised he didn't fly over them and drop the seismic charge.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, this is what's going to happen. Of course, we get the seismic charge later.
It's so cool that the seismic charge went exactly where it needed to be under the ground.
Yes.
And it just happened to land and perfectly spread out laterally and not vertically.
It's gotta be.
awesome.
It's gotta be a bomb. No, they gotta be designed that way.
Of course, they got a gyro.
Yeah,
they got a gyro.
They got a gyro. Yeah.
Whatever it is.
They've
They've
lamb
got
meat.
one of those.
They got lamb meat in there. Yeah, that puts it together. Are you over the seismic charges?
They're still cool every time.
They are still cool.
Yeah. I'm not over those. No, I can't lie.
No,
It's still giddy every time it goes off.
it rippling through the sand.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Let's get back to the recap and then we'll get back because there's one thing I want to bring up about that. Returning to the Sarlacc pit, Boba hovers over the Sarlacc. Another display of what the Slave One can do. I thought that was super cool. Like the way that it just the
Yes.
ship is just it's
The
It's
tentacles,
awesome.
though, the Sarlacc still got some wisdom, some smarts.
Dude, the Sarlacc breaches out of its pit, attacking the slave one. We obviously knew this was going to happen. Did it jump scare you a little bit?
No, because I think I said right when it was happening, it's still alive.
It's still alive.
And then boom,
I thought it was cool that when you see the Sarlacc,
because the hole, it started to breathe a little bit. You could see that, yeah.
And I thought that was a nod to unaltered Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. Because we don't have the big mouth thing. We just have the tentacles, and that's all we have.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like all we see when it's maybe not being disturbed or sleeping.
Or hunger, or
whatever,
hungry,
it
it is doing.
And then we see like the trachea, windpipe, whatever other things open, and it comes out. It didn't jump scare me, but how did you feel about the entire scene?
I liked it. I liked it. I mean... It is what it is. I mean, the ships are ships are brittle, but they're not. They're
really strong.
Right. They're really
strong.
So
listen, giant monsters and mountainous, cavernous palaces, absolutely no match. One blaster fire.
Yeah, disintegrated. It's perfect continuity. It makes all the sense.
I really did.
But it's
actually,
still fun.
I enjoyed the Sarlacc scene. Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool. The beak. The tentacles holding it down. I really liked when he started trying to shoot. Obviously, the geometry of the ship, he wasn't getting through, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, because the sand was absorbing the energy.
Yeah, he just wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't going to penetrate it fast enough. Finnick, dropping down into the cockpit, the windshield. I want to know why the button, I thought,
so far away and so hard to reach.
Well, I think he was obviously
engrossed in steering the ship and keeping it from going down.
That he couldn't, he had to keep both hands on the yoke.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, why is the ship going? Why anytime the ship sees distress, ship is like seismic charge.
Yeah.
Not more boosters.
Pleaser.
Yeah, not more boosters, not directing power to the rear thrusters.
Switch all power to rear deflector shield.
Switch all power to dropping that seismic charge. Just no in between.
Don't touch my buttons.
One thing that I really wanted to see, and this goes back to our no sense of urgency. Mm-hmm. There was plenty of urgency in they were fighting the Sarlacc. But when the seismic charge got pushed out and it kind of sat there, I wanted it to sit a second longer.
Right, yeah.
Like,
tink, 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 tink,
is it going to fall? Yeah. And then tink, exactly.
Right. It's, again, everything that doesn't need to be at the last second or drawn out is passed over. And
yes. And then other things, it's like, okay. Yeah. Like, we knew they were getting in Jabba's palace.
Right.
We didn't need the door scene.
Yeah.
We didn't know if we were going to have a misfire on the surface.
Right. So
premature detonation. But luckily, it got to its desired target.
I mean, that would have been better if it just went off and split the ship in half, and they fell back into it, and then we got another recap episode next week of how they both got out together. And they owed each other a life debt, and that's why they stay together.
And that's why they stay together. That makes perfect sense. We should be writing this show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's my catchphrase tonight, apparently.
Yeah, let's try to finish up this stinking recap. After the search through the sweet, sweet guts of the Sarlacc, Boba does not find his armor. Does he not remember getting attacked by the Jawas?
No, he woke up in the care of the Tuskens, right? Like, he was passed out.
No, because the
that's
Jawas
true, they knocked him out.
They knocked him out. I mean, obviously he was disorientated and sick.
I mean, he was down there for how long? I mean, 5 years.
I know.
You're down there 5 years. You don't really know what's real and what's not. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a little. Well, I don't want to say convenient. It makes sense. He just doesn't remember. It's just that's the only explanation. Around a fire at the mouth of the Sarlacc pit, Finnick and Boba speak about Boba creating a house. He offers her something that no other buyer has ever given her.
What's that, Konnor?
Loyalty.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just testing you.
Leading up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're supposed to be playing off each other.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We got it. Shaka Souffle.
Wait a minute. It's been so long.
The flashback finishes with Boba taking the throne of Jabba, as we saw at the end of Mandalorian Season 2.
And that nice Romulan ale that she's drinking.
Yeah, Spotchka.
Yes.
Coming to the real timeline of the show, Coming out of the back to tank, Boba Fett takes his armor and heads into the city as there is still no sign of the mayor. BK, aka Black Chrysanthemum, sits at the table inside Garla's sanctuary, of course, where we're sitting now.
Yes.
Garla brought us our drinks earlier. Looking around, he is writhing at neighboring Trandoshan's winning at a gambling table. Of course, in Wookiee-like fashion, he attacks them. As we have talked about on this podcast many times, Trandoshans and Wookiees absolutely hate each other. And
Why is that, Connor?
Because they are two planets in the mid-rim that sit directly next to each other, and trade passes through there, so war breaks out between the two. And then we also find out in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, from a certain point of view, from the Bosk point of view, spoiler alerts for this book, Bosk actually ends up meeting his sister, and she's actually a Wookiee saver, and she explains to Bosk that all of the traditions of Trandoshans hating Wookiees, it's all what's the word, pagan, not real, bad, it's all fake. Wookiees are good, lies,
Yeah.
bad tradition.
Hokum.
Yeah, it's the best way to put it. Anyway, so that's why.
Yeah.
Finally, we get the scene that, let's be honest, we should have gotten last episode. Boba finally hires Black Chrysanthemum himself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Boba in a bathrobe again.
Dude, he is Boomer Robe.
He is definitely Boomer Fett, or the original. He is Mr. Spa Time.
Yes,
with Grampy
in the back to tank.
Yeah.
Mr. Spa Time. I skipped over this part. Garla gives this amazing speech about how awesome BK was as a gladiator.
Yes.
And encourages him to put down the Trandoshan, and if he does, she'll clear his bar tab. Which I want to know
how much his
yes,
bar tab is.
and then I need an actual chart. How many credits is a drink? Because I want to know what the tolerance of a Wookiee is.
Right.
How much did he drink?
Yes.
Yeah. As we pointed out earlier, because he's over here.
And
in
only
the
enough to take one arm, so.
Yeah, apparently.
Wasn't
It was a leverage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, leverage thing. Of course, instead of taking her offer, Black Chrysanthemum rips off the arm of the poor Trandoshan. If you didn't hear Justin earlier, because no one listens to him, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad for the Trandoshan. His arm will grow back. Yes, that is a actual.
And when it does, he will announce that we back.
Yeah, we back. BK, of course, is then finally hired by Boba Fett. Back at the palace, as we have predicted on this podcast, the families meet, and together the families of Mos Espa go over the plans of standing up against the Pikes. The baby Rancor pays a visit at the dinner table.
Does. He's hungry.
I loved this scene.
That was pretty awesome.
The claws, and it was cool because we saw it was done on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Over the dinner's over there, and it's the implied threat, and more than an implied threat at that point. But
and because we've seen Boba and Fennec at a dinner table that's not in that room.
Right.
They moved it. Is it so he can smell the food? You know, once again, obviously it was done on purpose.
Right.
And it was so cool to.
And if negotiations broke down and it didn't go the right way, he could have just dumped them, and all the crime lord heads were there, and he would have that vacuum of power to fill, and he would have done it even easier. And
it was cool too because it was such a monster movie trope to not see the monster, but you know the monster's there.
Right.
Super, super cool. That was actually really, really well done with just the claws, because once again, it's
the only thing that would have made it better is if Boba went downstairs,
yes,
jumped on the Rancor's back, and comes up out of the cave and says, "This is why."
Yes, of course.
And then
yeah, that would have been.
We can dream. We can dream. Back to the writer's room.
Yes. Uniting against the Pikes, but unfortunately, the families are not willing to spill their own blood. The counteroffer: remaining neutral in the war to come. Boba Fett implores the families to not take sides in the war.
Which family's going to give in, and which
they're
going to all turn on?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd like to see the Trandoshans go back on their offer and mount and get with Boba, because it's just, we've seen Trandoshans in action in the first episode of second episode of Mando ever, when they fight him in that little crevasse. Yeah. And I thought it was super, super cool. And I think that all these Trandoshans look really good.
Yeah.
And then who knows? I don't care if it gives a small galaxy vibe. have these Trandoshans know Bosk. Something. And then Boba's like, oh yeah, I've worked with him. I know him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, come on. I really want a more live action Bosk. That'd be really, really cool. And then of course the Clitonians are going to be the ones that go with the Pikes.
Right.
They're crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be honest. As the family leave, Boba and Fennec speak of money and the treasures that they have. Quote, credits can buy muscle if you know where to look. And the Mando song plays.
Yes, it did. That was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
The tie back in. What are we going to see next? Good stuff.
Now, say we get Din. Let's brainstorm a little. Yeah, we get Mando back in. Is Mando going to bring... I need him to meet up with another covert. I need him to meet up with more Mandos.
Cad Bane.
But Cad Bane and Boba don't get along.
Well, maybe they have a common interest. I just want to see Cad Bane.
I do too, but I want to see them fight.
I don't care about any of it.
I want to see them fight.
Yeah.
You know what the big rumor is right now?
What's that?
Like the big rumor for this show. If you do not like rumors, fast forward the next 30 seconds. I promise I'll be done. The big rumor is you've obviously heard that the shoots for Harrison Ford.
Uh-huh.
So the big thing for this is he's going to be holding he's going to have a toddler with him, and it's Ben.
Okay.
So we're going to see Han Solo with Ben. Oh. That's the big, which I think would be really cool. Not like 4-year-old Ben is anything to like.
So are you saying that we can hide Luke for a whole season, but we can't hide Ben? Because there were no rumors about Luke for Mando season 2.
Yeah, dude. I think that I think that this show is being done fast and loose.
Yeah.
I think that there was
more leaks, less prep. Yeah.
Well, think of all the rumors that were for Mando season 2 that came true. Every single one.
But they still hid Luke somehow.
They did hide Luke.
So maybe they're hiding something big in this one too.
Because it was an unnamed actor who was being the face of Luke. Mm-hmm. That's why. They could do the same thing with... I'm past my 30 seconds. They could do the same thing with him.
Yeah. They could. They could. We will see.
Yeah, we will see. All right, guys. Final thoughts on the episode before we go into the callers?
Overall, it was fun. I'm just going to say I'm watching for enjoyment and entertainment now. I'm not going to get too caught up on the details and hung up on everything because 2021 is over and I just want to have fun.
Yeah. I have a vested interest in Din showing up in the show because I like him way more than Boba. But we'll see. Now, Matt, we are going to go into the callers. Justin.
He back.
We back. How was your vacation?
It was good.
No one cares. We are going to be spinning.
How dare you cut me off in the middle of my diatribe.
No, how was vacation?
Oh, it was great. It was a great group of people, great fun, delicious food, nice short little 4-hour drive, which is pretty awesome to find somewhere that's not even a tank of gas. So I had a blast.
Yeah, we need to do that. Well, Justin, I am going to spin the wheel real quick.
And now we find out what other dare we will never do. Konnor can't hear me talking because he doesn't have his headphones on.
Now, wow. Yeah, I heard that. I pre-selected. I rolled the dice already, and we landed on number 3. Drink coasters. If you keep getting out of dares, it's not going to be fun for anybody. All right, but drink coasters times 2. I'm going to tell you right now. Let me go over to the Cantina hotline. We had the entry of that one. Number 2. It's Cream Cake. Cream Cake Lorenzo. He has won the drink coasters. We're going to send him 2 of those.
Supreme Halo Lord wins again.
Supreme Halo Lord is winning the coasters for 2. Now, I did get the dare. And I'm going to tell you what the dare is, but I'm going to wait for you and me to record so you can enjoy it.
That's fine.
I am going to the next episode, so this coming Wednesday, I'm gonna have to smear peanut butter all over my face.
The whole episode.
The whole episode, yeah. And you're gonna have to do everything that you can to not lick my face. So, you know.
That's a daily challenge.
I just want to
Nothing
see
new.
you sitting across the table for look, I'm gonna put peanut butter on my face and I'm gonna give you a sleeve of saltine crackers, and whatever you decide to do is completely up to you. But as in fashion, as always, I think it is time to go with the winner's call.
I was cheersing my champagne to that.
Hello, this is, your friendly neighborhood Cream Cake. As you know, the best Halo player you've ever met. Also the angriest Halo player you've ever met. Episode 4, wow, big improvement, huge improvement. I feel like we finally got, like, legit black chrysanthemum.
Yes.
And just ripped that Trandoshan's arm off. I loved it. Probably my favorite scene.
Did you notice that it was abundantly clear that he had his scar on this
Versus
episode?
Previous? Before?
Dude, it was like not there. And if it was there, it was not noticeable. In this episode, because we've had plenty of close-ups with BK. Like, even when Boba, like, lets him go the first time.
No, and that was daylight scenes, too, because I was trying to rake my brain. Like, maybe it was dark and the annoying nighttime shots that they do and we couldn't see it. But these, I think first time we saw them, middle of the day.
Yeah.
In front of the huts, middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never noticed it as much.
And this time, you really, really noticed the scar. I'm wondering if, like, through filming, they were like, oh, crap, we got to make this more, clear or something.
Out of the whole episode, and it's just super exciting. That Mando theme we got at the end looks like Mando's coming in for maybe episode 5 or 6, and who knows, maybe they set up, like, more bounty hunters to come in, like Cad Bane and Boss.
We need it,
which would be really awesome. Or maybe, just maybe, since Mando has the Darksaber, he's basically the ruler of Mandalore. See a whole bunch of Mandalorians, maybe even Bo-Katan come back. That would be awesome. But yeah, super excited. All right, see ya. Bye.
Thank you for that call, Lorenzo. Go ahead.
I obviously was not listening or could not have listened yet to the discussion you and Camping Comedian had on the episode, but I seem to see a lot of disagreement with what my quick hot take that I said was, and a lot of people seem to think this episode moved the plot forward a lot. I've rewatched it again. I still don't see it. Like, it was not a bad episode by any means. It was just, man, I want some current stuff to happen. Like, it was cool. It was great. Like, we did say, like, I'd love to see how they got their relationship built between Fennec and Boba, but still, like, that's all past tense stuff. I do not see that as being something that moves the plot along. Maybe I'm being a grumpy old curmudgeon man, but
what do you think? What do you think about the whole? I mean, them clearly, oh, credits can buy muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mando, for what we see canon wise, is almost a more successful bounty hunter than Boba.
Yeah, because that's another thing I was laughing at. Like, we keep saying we want Boba to be this awesome, like, brutal, amazing hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And when we really look at what we've seen canon in the original trilogy, I mean, he was never awesome. Like, he looked awesome, but he never did anything. Like, the one fight he got into, he just got yeeted into the side of a sand dune or a sand barge. Maybe Boba, in his old age, just kind of lost his tenacity. I don't know. But I love to see Mando.
What do you think of the whole, it's been going around a lot. Mando's coming back. Mando's got the Darksaber. Mando's going to bring a bunch of Mandalorians. Maybe we see Asuka, Axe Woves. Maybe we see them again. I do not think that we see Bo. I think that she obviously has huge fundamental disagreements with him having the Darksaber.
Bo's never been a bounty hunter. I mean, I think if we see Bo-Katan again, it's going to be in the Ahsoka show. I definitely think this is 100% zero chance of us not seeing Din. There's no possible way. There's no way we're not seeing Din.
Did you see on Instagram today the commenting that was going back and forth? Dude, I was like,
it's like, what are you watching, bro?
Yeah, I was like, how do you? I was trying to pick my words because I wasn't trying to be mean by any.
I guess we should say another podcast was like, what are you like? There's no way Din will be on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
and we're like,
there were no hints.
The last episode?
There were no hints to Din being in Book of Boba Fett. And I was like, they literally played his theme song.
Unless somebody was just like super zoned
trolling
out, and I don't think trolling, like
they hit the wrong soundboard button.
You could I'm saying like I think you could watch this and for a split second forget because this is like a new Disney Plus show. For a split second, hear that Mandalorian theme song and not necessarily like differentiate between the two different shows that you're watching. I mean, that's always a possibility for somebody personally.
Yeah,
but like they're wrong. No, you don't play. You don't play the Mandalorian's theme song after you say you can hire muscle.
Yeah,
and it not know that he's going to be in the episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, that is what this show needs,
dude.
Mandalorian is such a higher caliber than this has been. They need something to ramp us up and get us hyped.
It's ramping me up already. Mando has become Mandalorian's first of all my favorite thing about Star Wars. Mando being a great representation of that. Also, like, what if he's come back in contact with his old covert?
Yeah,
and now he brings them in, right?
He's like sad daddy Din, no child.
Yeah, like, he's having like what is it, empty nest syndrome? Like, yeah. Dude, I just imagine, and we could be hyping ourselves up a little bit too much. Imagine him just like flying around the streets of Mos Espa, or running around just katana style, just going through people with the Darksaber, right?
Dude, if we had any type of scene with him using the Darksaber,
we need more.
The Moff Gideon fight, like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we need more. Even obviously he still has the Beskar spear as well.
Staff, yeah.
Yeah, that was sick too. I take either, but all right, our next call is Grant again. I think
hey guys,
got cut off.
Grant here. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome? Because I keep hoping that this series will get better.
He's on my path.
I love it already. I love hearing differences of opinion. It's great.
First off, right away, going into the flashbacks again. In my opinion, this whole episode was already handled with like the 5 to 10 minute clip from Mandalorian.
Okay,
10 sentences could have wrapped this episode up.
It's funny you say that. So obviously you haven't heard the recording with me and Cam, a comedian, yet, but even though I enjoyed watching this episode, we knew all of this, every bit of it. We have in the episode the tragedy. Finnick is like, he saved me, and then. Justin, at any point, did you ever wonder where the Slave One was? Did you need to see him steal it back?
No, I mean, I assumed it had to be in Jabba's palace, obviously, and he obviously got it back because he's flying it. Like, yeah. The only thing that they could have done to blow me away is because it is a fire spray ship. That's the class of the ship. If Slave One itself was lost and he went and bought another fire spray and re-outfitted it, repainted it, kind of the way,
could have gotten a montage.
That could have been way more interesting. Like,
and he even makes a comment that he works on his own ships. Yeah,
and like it's a known thing. I guess this is EU, but it's a known, like there's been like 6 or 7 of Slave Ones. He it gets destroyed, it gets too damaged. He buys the exact same model ship, redoes everything. Like that could have been way more interesting than everything about this. Yeah. To me personally, at least.
Yeah. Still enjoyed the episode though.
This was just like, oh hey, let's explain it more and just give you a whole episode about it for what? Just to watch him basically take revenge on a few things, on his Tusken friends' murderers, and then
I loved that
Sarlacc.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Which leads me to my next point that Fennec nearly killed them both by launching a sonic charge out the back
Yep.
of Slave One while they're hanging over the Sarlacc pit there.
Don't push my
And
buttons.
why is the Sarlacc attacking a ship? But anyways.
How'd you feel about that? I liked it personally. I thought the CG was pretty good. You know, I liked the strength that it showed of the Sarlacc, like literally holding down a ship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yet again, this is another thing that we already knew happened from Mandalorian with the crate dragons, and that here is where the Sarlacc pit used to be, but now it's dead. It was just an explanation of something we already knew happened.
Yeah.
All that aside, the bomb finally, takes out the Sarlacc. All good there, thank
Oh,
God.
best sound effect ever.
Because that would have been a really short series otherwise.
Series ends. Blows up,
what
kills
is
them.
going on with this series, man? The writing is just, it's killing me.
Is the writing killing you?
I gotta start writing this stuff down because I'm losing my train of thought here. But
He's so mad.
it was just so boring, in my opinion, because we got basically a whole episode just about a flashback about that scene. And then, of course, at the end, when they're talking about getting more muscle, cue the Mando music, which is very likely why we're not getting a Mandalorian Season 3 for some time, because this is Mandalorian Season 3. Which is almost disappointing, because it would have been nice to see a standalone series that could stand on its own two legs. And
we are getting Mando Season 3, though. I know he knows that. I think he's speaking more. It's disappointing from the standpoint of Book of Boba Fett itself.
Like, this is going to lead into being like a Mando season 2.5 and not necessarily like everything
Book
we
of
wanted.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's not everything we wanted and dreamt about for Boba. It's just like here's 7 episodes to lead in what happened post Grogu.
Yeah. Did you see that Mandalorian filming got stopped again, production?
I saw a lot of stuff got stopped again because of COVID issues and Omicron and so on and so forth. That garbage that's just messing all of our movies and TV up.
Yeah.
keep our interest. But of course, Dave Filoni can't do that. Has to bring his home run back in, because that'll fix everything.
I don't blame him, though.
So, all that being said, I did enjoy a couple things.
If you have Michael Jordan, why would you bench Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
To be fair,
I completely understand his point, though, and it does take away from Boba, because Boba
uniqueness.
Yeah, and Boba was already a sidekick in Mandalorian Season 2. So
I mean, he's a sidekick in Star Wars.
Period.
In the movies, like, he's never had time to shine on his own, and even with this, he doesn't seem like he's shining on his own because Fennec gets him out of things.
Yeah.
In the episode, I liked watching BK just get talked down while he's holding that Trandoshan, and just no matter what, smokes and rips his arm off. That was great. Pays up his tab and walks away. That was sweet.
Worth it.
There were a couple of good points in there, too. I try not to be terrible about this show, terribly negative, but I just wish I wish they put a little bit more thought into making this its own series that could stand on its own two legs without just becoming a cop-out for Mando again. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully it picks up.
Thank you for calling, Grant. I do agree. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I unfortunately do feel like there was a void, and they knew that they were going to have a void due to, casting drama even before COVID happened, and then COVID happened and made it even worse. And then they were like, okay,
Pedro's other projects that he already committed to.
And then they were like, okay, Book of Boba Fett. Because one thing that's crazy that somebody pointed out, I saw on TikTok, is have you noticed how COVID friendly this show is? People don't stand 6 feet from each other. They stand 6 feet apart unless they're in costume or they have helmets.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That
I didn't even notice that. Which, of course, we want everybody to be safe, regardless of how you feel. You don't want to get sick. So, there's that. I get that. But I do hope the show picks up more. I'm very excited about Din. Are you?
I am, and I hope it picks it up because I feel myself starting to be. I don't like being negative, but I feel myself starting to be like each week a little more downtrodden, like
Yeah.
beaten up, like Jesus, guys, like come do something. Like there's always like a glimmer of coolness, a glimmer of excitement of something, but like this is not a feeling we ever had with seasons 1 or 2 of The Mandalorian. Like
Yeah.
this is something unique to the Book of Boba Fett, and
If we
maybe
did, it was an immediate knee jerk of going the other way.
I think our biggest complaint we had was
like the
too much
spider episode.
Too much excitement was happening, and it was Monster of the Week, but it was still all like excitement and new things happening, and we were just trying to figure out the storyline. With this, like, dude, let's let something happen. Like, I don't care about what already happened. Like, let's let something new actually happen.
Yeah.
I'm being negative.
Hey, this is Glenn Osborne.
Glenny boy. I
don't think Glenn likes it either.
Enjoyed watching Book of Boba Fett episode 4, chapter 4, last night. This one had a little bit disturbing lack of rancor. We did get to
He said a little bit a lack of disturbing because lack of rancor.
some rancor toes sticking up to the grill there.
Yeah,
I loved that scene, by the way.
Yeah,
I thought
it was very shoot her,
yes,
shoot her, like the claws of the raptor coming out of the cage.
Oh, dude, yeah,
it's like also I loved that scene.
Yeah, it was great.
I think it's sort of a power move to have a meal over a rancor pit. Trap door, I suppose. I'm not sure why everybody sat back down after they do it, but I guess they can't show that they're scared of a rancor. We got to see.
Pause it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's honestly sad is I forgot that whole dinner scene even happened. I've watched it twice, and I forgot that whole dinner scene even happened. Everything was so focused. I didn't dislike it, but everything was just so focused on the flashback that I almost forgot about the little stint of current things that happened, which they didn't even come together. They're just like, be cool, don't sell me out. All right, see ya.
Yeah, and this episode, again, like episode 2, 90% of the episode was flashback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we get the literally the 5 to 10 minutes of current. So that's why, you know, once again, it hurts the plot. It feels like it's not going far.
Besides the scenes with the bantha, got to see a little interaction with the bantha. Might be the first time we saw inside of a bantha's mouth, perhaps. I'm not sure. At any rate, they seem like chicken. We got to see a direct Mando crossover with the.
Wah, 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 wah. Did he get cut off again?
No, somebody's trying to call me.
Oh.
The story how Fennec was picked up by Boba Fett, and that was pretty interesting to watch. We got to see a little bit more of the body mod scene that our cyberpunks are obviously in on. They've still got the shiniest Vespas, but
how did you feel about kind of having some continuity to the mod kids we have now, and it kind of brings it together? Did that help, or did it make it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think we literally said what we imagined it, and it ended up being exactly what we imagined. Like some dark, seedy, underground doctor that's like doing this stuff super sketchy and very like Cyberpunk 2077, like super, like if you played that game at all, like it's 100% the same thing.
Yeah.
I saw a green one that was a little dirtier there. He's not quite as proud of his Vespa, though. I did enjoy the little video game mapping that Fennec did to get the slave
that was cool. That was super cool.
Hawk there.
She sent her ghost in.
We got to see a little bit of stuff.
Destiny.
Got to see a rabbit droid. I think this is the first time that there's been a live action rabbit droid. I call them rabbit droid. I don't know what they're called. But
we've seen those things in a ton of places.
He got scared and
The
turned
little
himself
rabbit
off.
droids.
That's probably the best move for him. We got to see EV-99. I remember in the Tales from Jabba's Palace, EV-99
Great book.
definitely didn't die by Boba Fett's hand. She died by a crowd of sort of zombie droids taking her apart after another droid took her pain sensor out of her head. And well, that's about all I have to say for episode 4. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it actually had more action. Yeah, maybe it was a little more interesting than the other episodes, except for, of course, our Rancor episode. But
give this man some more Rancor.
Yeah,
it still
he will get
seems
his
a little
wish.
bit. I didn't like this one quite as much as I liked maybe episode 3, but I could see where some other people might.
Thank you, Glenn, again for that call.
We should also give an update to Glenn's last week's call where he was promoting a book that is his favorite book, and he got stung hard on Audible because the only version they have available now is abridged, and it's like 2 hours long.
See,
because I almost bought it with a credit, and I was like, wait a second, 2 hours long.
No. Matt found it. You talk to Matt. He found it.
Matt found it on where?
On Audible. He got the whole book.
The only version is abridged. I searched everywhere.
Listen, dude.
He's probably got some like real sketchy website that he got it from.
No, he got it on Audible. He showed it to me on the phone.
I feel
but
like
he talk to him. Speaking of,
heyo, Boomer Fett here, the artist formerly known as the Camping Comedian. And just to touch on the Boomer Fett thing a little bit, every once in a while, once in a blue moon even, someone says something that is the perfect fit, and you realize that you must steal it and get it out to the world before the person who invented it gets it out and rightly claims the credit for it. That is all
deleting
I will say
this
about
guy.
that.
Canceled.
This week's episode, I am.
Oh my gosh,
this guy's canceled.
Yeah.
That the Rancor eats them all, and Mando then shows up in episode 7, kills the rest of all of the bounty hunters and all of the criminals, and brings Cara Dune to the palace, where they establish it as a bastion of justice and order, and it becomes the launching point for the Rangers show that's actually secretly been produced.
I actually don't mind that.
I like that it was all fake. Cara Dune, still part of Star Wars.
All of it.
Gina Carano is like
she's there the whole
deep
time.
in the midst of filming. Like they're in post now. They're done filming.
Yeah, they're done. Yeah, exactly.
And the whole firing thing was just a long con to distract us from the awesomeness that will be the return of Cara Dune as the leader of the Rangers. That's my hot take for this week.
This guy ever get tired of talking? This guy guest stars on an episode and then calls in because he's still not done talking.
Yeah, exactly. One thing, speaking of Rangers, do you think we're seeing Cobb?
I really thought we were going to see Cobb on Book of Boba Fett just because it's so Tatooine centric that, I mean, it made sense. And the link between the armor, Din told him where he got the armor from. Like, I just figured like there's got to be some type of string between these two characters that they have to come together. I mean, this show is so small focused, I guess, like geographically. Like, I mean, it seemed like common sense, but so far it's not looking like it's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe Mando comes and Mando's like, hey, I know a guy. You know, because Boba...
I mean, that could be. If he hires somebody for some muscle and Mando brings in some others.
Mando or Boba already knew that Mando got it from Cobb Vanth. Like, Cobb was already on... I don't know. Anyway, we do have one more call before we wrap this up. And my iPad, of course, is completely locked. There we go.
Hi, this is Benjamin. I wanted to leave some comments on episode 4 of Boba Fett, the galaxy's softest bounty hunter. We are learning he has found the Force and taken up a life of ritualistic back-to-cleansing baths from the Bomar monks. In fact, if we get any more back-to flashbacks, I think they should just rename the show Back to the Future. Black Kazakhstan, or whatever he's called, has electrified Durasteel knuckle dusters.
Hey. The knuckle dusters are sick.
I love Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
But they don't give anyone a black eye or even leave a scratch. So you could literally do more damage with a wiffle bat made of cheese. The Wookiee fighting and hugging scenes didn't feel very tense, as the only real damage Black Crouton has done so far is pull off a...
He called him Black Crouton.
Black Crouton. See, call in more, Ben. Call in more.
The Wookiee fighting and hugging scenes didn't feel very tense, as the only real damage Black Crouton has done so far is pull off a Trandoshan's arm, which I thought was about as riveting as a scene with Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story.
I disagree. I really liked the Trandoshan thing. Did you liked it?
I liked just seeing him be like, this is not even worth my bill. I'm gonna rip this guy's arms off. They grow back anyway. I mean, let's be real. They're gonna grow back.
Yeah.
It's great to finally learn that the Sarlacc's stomach acid is less caustic than the food at Taco Bell. Are people slowly digested over 1,000 years, or should all of his armor have been dissolved in a couple of years, as Fennec Shand suggested? Which is it? I thought it was kind of lazy writing, that one limp punch and some fire and you can escape the Sarlacc. I'm sure no one has ever tried that before. It's not like anyone has ever been swallowed with a blaster, vibroblade, vibro axe, or thermal detonator, except for virtually everyone we saw fall in during Return of the Jedi. I also think...
He's not wrong, except for most of the people that got thrown in there were chopped by Luke's lightsaber.
But I mean, it makes more sense. Like, if he were to escape, it should have been, I don't know, something else. It should have been more...
He used a flamethrower.
I guess, but I don't know. And I also look at, he straight up just has, no memory or common sense of getting out of the Sarlacc pit in his full armor.
It was really weird. I mean, I guess after 5 years of being in a stasis, you're not gonna be 100% there, but it did seem very weird to me. Is it just too easy? He finds the Jawas and that's why?
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, he knows that he had his armor when he fell in. He knows that he escaped. Does he legitimately think that his armor dissolved to the point of nothing, but left the flight suit intact? No. Like, come on. Like, you got out, the armor got out.
He had his flight suit on. That's what he was wearing with all
that's
the...
What that's what I'm saying. Like, the armor, so he...
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yes,
all of the armor dissolved, but left the flight suit fine.
Yeah.
Minus a few scratches and nicks.
Yeah. I can't defend it now that you pointed that out. Yeah.
The show lacks the same dynamic lighting we saw in The Mandalorian. The palace looked good, but it was so clean and well lit inside, it looked like an Airbnb spa in Arizona. I was hoping for a grungy, dark dungeon because the episode takes place in a dark dungeon. Instead, the set was apparently lit by the DP from the Big Bang Theory. I am, however, excited for the next episode.
How dare you insult Big Bang Theory?
We are going to see IG-88, Bosk, and Mandalorian in episode 5 because they have already...
All right, I'm digging the theory of seeing Bosk. I need Bosk.
I want Bosk, yes, but I, sweet baby Jesus, want to see Dengar so bad.
I want to see.
I think too. I want Dengar over Cad Bane, even though we've never seen Cad Bane in live action. I won't
go that far.
I want grizzled, old, grumpy man Dengar, like in his. I'm imagining some type of dirty English accent.
Yes.
All right. Like
Mark Thompson does a good Dengar.
Yeah. Like I want streets of London, dirty accent, pissed off old man Dengar. Like that is all I want.
I agree.
set up to introduce these characters. Mando had a disdain for droids until he warmed up to IG-11 and was truly saddened to see him be destroyed. So it makes sense to now introduce IG-88, which is a return to the cold hunter-killer programming typical of IG units.
Which I think would be perfectly fine.
Has shown new Star Wars viewers his disdain for Trandoshan since they are the mortal enemies of the Wookiees. I think the three of them working together would make for a very interesting plot. So that's my take on this, and I'm interested for you guys' opinions. Talk to you later. Bye.
I really like that, and it's kind of something, that we saw in Mandalorian a little bit with Din working with Ahsoka, right? Jedi are the ancient enemies of Mandalorians and Mandalore, and having people come together that shouldn't come together, especially in Star Wars, it'll look cool for casual watchers, and it'll be a nice deep cut for people that know why it shouldn't work.
A boss and a BK, like two arch enemies, an IG-88 and a Mando, to hate each other. Well, I guess IG doesn't give a crap, but I do like that concept.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. That was super great, Ben. Thank you very much for calling. You have entered yourself into the giveaway that we'll be doing at Book of Boba Fett.
Ben could win a coaster that he made.
Yes. I need to ask him if he kept some. I can't imagine he didn't keep one. I mean, obviously he has the file. If he didn't, I need to send him one for sure. Guys, thank you very much for calling in to this week of Book of Boba Fett for KonKon's Cantina.
Hey,
yes.
Casual kid, you're slacking.
Yeah, come on, dude. I don't care that you were on vacation. Where was the call-in, bro? Somebody literally called you out last week and was like, you were the best call-in, and you weren't on there. But we'll let you slide this time.
Immediately just gives up.
Yeah, come on. Guys, I was your boy. It's KonKon. And across from me, virtually, as always,
Justin.
And we will see you guys
Justin's Cantina. Justin's Cantina.